This is the Transparency Podcast Show.
Hi, Shelby.
Hi, Tawni. It's great to meet you.
Great to meet both of you. Well, I've known, like Shelby said, I've known Shelby for a while, and she's an awesome friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I've seen you online for years, but it's one of those things how, we see each other, but we always don't connect in person or directly, but, it's part of our overall community. So it's great to see you kind of in person.
Well, isn't it nice to connect after you kind of know the Facebook person?
Yes,
and
exactly.
And we connect like, oh my gosh, there's a real person there.
Exactly right. Yes. I think we often kind of watch each other's journey and pick things that apply to us and what would work for us, what wouldn't work for us. But sometimes we don't get, or a lot of times we don't get that opportunity to meet face to face. So that's one of the things I like about doing this podcast. So thanks for inviting me to do this.
Of course. So, Tawni, we're going to start off learning your journey from the very beginning. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, tell us about how you feeling like you're different and how do you discover your true self?
Wow. Okay. So I'll just say you can figure it out. I'm 62 years old. Wow. Okay. And so maybe I came from that generation where, when I grew up, there was no internet, there was no nothing, there's nothing available information-wise about people like us.
Right.
And so I think that I lived a life where I always felt this difference. I always experienced it from a young age, but our reality was so different than that. And I ended up living a life trying to mold myself into what I thought I should be.
Exactly.
Based on other people's expectations, family background, my upbringing, all that kind of stuff. And so I did not come to terms or did not, shall we say, leave the closet until I was in my early 50s. And I would say that in that time period, I did, I worked in information technology since the early 80s, since like 1980, believe it or not. And so because of that, I could see people express themselves in community, through all the incantations, before there's Facebook, there's message boards. Oh God, what was the other? Anyway, I don't want to go through that history, but the long story short is I used to live vicariously through others. I used to look at other trans people on, on the internet, on social, and I used to do it from the most intense relief from my own dysphoria, but yet at the same time, being closeted for all those years, being closeted for so long, that took an enormous toll on me. I think on the other hand, to finally get that courage to take those first steps out of the closet, which is in this club scene that we mutually experienced, was like, oh my gosh, that was the most unbelievable experience ever. Because it's like, there's like this need. It's kind of like the need to me was almost like, a pitcher of water in a parched desert. All of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh. And for me to realize I think I was married for over 20 years, 24 years. And when I first came out to these, these trans clubs and trans events, it was like the emotions were overwhelming, and first to present as myself and even to learn, like even where I lived in, I lived in a community in Los Angeles, Torrance, which by its nature was kind of a little bit more conservative bedroom community. So all of a sudden to find out like, oh my God, there's people next door to me like me. I just couldn't even, it was. So I think it was just almost, in terms of my senses, to go to a club and freely express myself, and yes, with a lot of drinks. Oh my,
always helps.
That was powerful. It was, thankfully we had that venue to express ourselves.
Yes. I started with that club too, and I actually found the club by accident. Someone took me there. And then once I kind of like your situation, once I walk in, I just feel, I belong here somehow. I don't know why.
People like me.
Yeah. So that's why, because Michelle just came out about 2 years ago.
Just over 2 years.
Yeah,
At
so
age 52.
Yes. And she's kind of the newer, I'll call it newer generation transition girls. They don't actually have to go to those clubs.
Yes,
I
never did.
Yeah. I found, we interviewed some, they are just recently came out and they just, transition and then headed to blend into the society.
I will
right
say,
away.
I've driven by Hamburger Mary's very slow a lot pre-transition, but I never went in. I basically watched you guys online because I think in the 80s is when the advent of the internet and, able to have our own computers, and then watching other stories for those years, I think really saved my life because it gave me hope, even though I never thought I would transition based on my family, my career, my religious upbringing. But I was able to see that as actually possible, which helped me sustain and not end up unaliving myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. A very similar experience, maybe just a little bit different vehicle.
Right. So,
but, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to ask you because you mentioned about when you came out, you were still in a marriage. Can you share that experience? Because you say similarity. Michelle might be able to reflect.
Sounds like we might have a lot in common with this.
Yeah, on that part. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So, like I said, I was married for 24 years before I really got the courage to leave the closet. And, I think, how did I do it? My wife at the time, who is now my ex, at the time, she was out of town for 3 or 4 weeks. And that's like, oh boy, I'm gonna try this out. Yes. I'm taking this for a test ride. And then all my friends and many of them, Shelby knows, but there was one lady who really encouraged me to leave the closet, who I'm forever indebted to her. It was the Emmy, who Emmy. Wow. And I think she said something to me when I was just closeted online, exploring myself, and it never left me. She's like, what's going to be, what are you waiting for? And what's going to be your excuse next month? Right. And it's like, oh my God. Yes. So my wife was out of town at the time, and I took the opportunity to, engage a makeup artist, help with clothing, present, do the whole event, come back home. And, I think the way, once you do an act like that, you present in public for the first time with the gender to which you identify or that you're figuring out, that is truly an irrevocable act. I didn't understand it at the time.
Right.
In terms of my relationship with my marriage is, when my wife at the time returned back from, being out of town, I got up that courage to express to her me at the time. And at the time I was just saying, oh, I'm just more of a cross-dresser. I need to do this on the weekends. Yeah. And I would say it's kind of for us, I desperately wanted to stay together with her. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really, really, really wanted to make it work, because I was very invested in the marriage.
Right.
And, so
a lot of years.
And so was she, in all honesty. But at a certain point, it's kind of like I left the closet in a way. And my wife at the time, she kind of went into the closet about me. Mm-hmm. And so she started suffering a lot. And she started having psychosomatic issues and stress issues because of me. And so it was so intense. At some point, Shelby, or to both of you, at some point, I think my own well-being started declining rapidly. And it really, I can talk about this. It's a hard topic. My well-being started, I started becoming so unhealthy because I was experiencing this difference between male and female in my brain, or what we would call gender dysphoria. I was experiencing it to such an extreme and such profound levels of attack, of panic attack and dysphoria attack, that at the end of 2015, I became suicidal. I became, I had a moment where I literally wanted to act on it. Like I made a plan. I started to execute and like to do it, which is like inconceivable. But thankfully, we can call it whatever you want to call it, divine intervention. That I didn't really want to do it. It's a cry for help. You could use all these things. And thankfully, I had the right people in my life, and thankfully, I was working with a therapist at the time. I took a pause. I didn't follow through with it, but the severity of the attacks made me realize that I just couldn't continue living my life as male anymore. And I had to go forward with my transition. I had to really find that courage. And it was hard to find that courage. But I also realized I hit a point of no return. And the point that I would hit that point so severely, on the one hand, I mean, I don't want to see us go through, I don't want to see people like us have to go through what I went through. But on the other hand, as I got better and better, it became a gift because it made me understand that there's only one way forward, and that's to be myself. And I could not go backwards. I couldn't go back to who I was. I couldn't go back to a life as that dude, as it were. And then as I went forward, really, I made the decision to start the hormonal replacement therapy, HRT. And then about 6 months later, you start that, you slowly ramp up to it, and then it ramps up into, a very full dosage, which creates the transition. Once I made that decision is when my wife at the time said, I want a divorce. And I don't, and oh no. I would say, and as a point of personal honesty, I think before all of this and before me coming to terms with myself, my marriage actually, from my point of view and from how I dealt with it, I can't speak for her, but for me, it kind of became my codependent validation. Like, I'm okay as a dude because look at me, I got a good marriage, a beautiful wife, a house, a blah, 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 blah.
Makes sense.
And at a certain point, that no longer had relevance. But in compassion towards her, she married a guy. She didn't marry.
Exactly. Right.
But us detaching from all of that, that was really hard. It was mutually hard. It's hard maybe the insecurity and the vulnerability is extremely high for me. So it's hard to share that with friends, even in community or maybe a few, because it's like, it requires a lot of capacity to go with it. And maybe at that moment in my life, I didn't have the capacity. I was just like, oh my God, female hormones. WTF do I do with this? And then it's like, oh, I'm getting divorced. What do I do with this?
100%.
And it's like, oh my gosh, my job just laid me off.
Wow.
What do I do with this? This is a lot. This is a lot to deal with. How do I deal with this? That's.
Thank you for sharing. And I think it is important to capture the beauty out of our journey, even in the difficult parts, and maybe even especially in the difficult things. What was the sense of hope that you had that got you from the point of not going through with unaliving yourself, walking through the trauma of, breaking up with a really good partner, walking through the trauma of coming out into a world that was not ready for you at that time, still? What was the sense of hope that got you through?
I mean, the sense of hope is seeing many of my sisters so far down, or many trans kind, meeting so many trans kind, and just, number one, seeing that it was possible. Because at that point, it's just like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it, but I have to do it. So that gave me hope. Second, the other thing that gave me hope is, yes, I was every week quite religiously seeing a gender therapist. And it kind of helped keep me on my path. And third, during this process, I started to develop some, I would call them like trusted friendships. That those were the friends that I had that I could be vulnerable with. And so it's kind of a mixture of all those things. We need support. We need to advance our cause. We need to heal, you know? And then we need that camaraderie together. And sometimes, you know, what we do have to realize about the camaraderie, all of us have our really difficult stuff. We all have our trauma, our different, and so sometimes for me, the hardest thing was understanding that as I went through the community. And I'm at a very raw point in my transition that understanding, oh, by the way, though my bigger sisters are further along than they have their issues as well. Sure. I'm just more seeing it as like this, you know, gold standard, like, oh my God, they're living full time. Right, yes. And they've had their surgeries and that's what I want to do. And I don't have it. And how am I going to do it? Right. But I think through all this time, I developed some very close friends. And those friendships ended up being really key. That's what really gave me the hope. Awesome. Because giving that hope is just knowing I had a home with the right people. We call them our adopted, our extended, whatever you want to call it. That they did. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. But it plays a very important part. And I think it was there's no way I could do it without it. So I think in a way, we're all kind of standing on each other's shoulders or propping each other up or falling backwards and going forward, you know?
Exactly. Well said. Well said.
Yeah, I want to mention one thing because me and Tawni became so close. What she just mentioned is support, and everyone has their own traumas or depressions. So when I was in my depression, she was the only one came to my room at a time and knocked on my door. Oh. Yes, so I was very cool. At that time, I feel so embarrassed of myself, ashamed, and I actually pushed her out. I said, I don't want to see anybody right now. Right. But because of that, we built up a very strong friendship. And when she said she can share vulnerable, that's why we're still doing after all these years. Yes. Yeah. So so I'm very, appreciate you doing that. So, give me hope at the same time too.
Yes, that was part of your hope.
Yeah, that's part of my hope because I couldn't see how, at that time, I couldn't see how am I going to dig myself out of that depression.
Yes, so. Exactly.
You say you been through all that, struggling, and then become a full-time girl. And then you went through your operation as well. So can you share that experience with the audience?
Sure. It's a pleasure.
Because I've been asking about doctors and seeking what I want to do myself. Mm-hmm. So I think to ask some girls or sister that been through that experience is
definitely
perfect. Ideally,
exactly.
So
okay, how would you? I mean, there's so many aspects of this, but I'll just share how I did my surgeries, and I'll talk about the first one. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So as of date, I've had 3 of the major surgeries, which is bottom surgery, or we could call it gender affirming surgery, SRS. It has a whole bunch of names. But second, I've had the breast augmentation, and I've had facial surgery, facial feminization surgery, and lots of stuff done to my face. And then as well, point of personal honesty to I'm wearing a hairpiece, but I also had hair transplant surgery. Okay. And that's coming along amazingly. And I'm hoping maybe in a year or 2, I will no longer be wearing my hairpiece.
Nice.
Wow. So I want to go back to my first surgery. Okay. And I think that's maybe the heart of the matter, is that we all experience our gender and we all experience our body dysphoria in a very unique way. For me, I intensely experienced it that I needed bottom surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't experience to the point where maybe I wanted to self-harm or
Right.
self-mutilate,
Okay.
but there's people who experience it like even that intensely.
Exactly.
But I didn't experience it that way, but I experienced it that I always fantasized about having, no, can I say it on here?
You can.
I always fantasized about having a vagina.
Yes.
I always fantasized about it. And so when I started the transitional process, it's like, I can't explain it, but it's like this primordial drive was in me to do it. And so in 2017, though I'd been only living a short time full time, maybe 6 months, and my health insurance coverage was on a clock. It was called the Cobra because I'd been laid off.
Yes.
And so I was on a 6-month clock. So I went and did a consult actually in Arizona with one of the big doctors at the time, Dr. Meltzer. It's even stranger. His co-practitioner's name is Dr. Lay. And she's an incredible doctor, but unusual name. I may put it that way. I won't go anywhere with that. But anyway, when I did that first consult, all I can tell you is something, I would say maybe my confidence in the need was maybe like 90% confidence, 10% doubt. Okay. I did the consultation and I came away. The consultation to me, again, was like this rite of passage, religious experience. Right. I have to have the surgery. I know beyond any doubt in my mind. And that's the point. But I wasn't ready to have it, okay? I knew in my, on the one hand, it gave me mentally, spiritually, or whatever you want to transitionally speaking, I didn't have doubt that I needed that surgery and I needed it as soon as I could do it. What ensued was really, I had to go through the next steps of my journey, which was really extricating myself from the house that my ex and I were in, selling it, moving out and moving to West Hollywood where I lived, where I had a small apartment. But all in that time period, what happened with me was very coincidentally and through Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles, at the end of 2017, just started their transgender care program. Okay. So I did a consult with the doctor there, and they had no waiting list. They had a 6-month waiting list. Wow. Which, for like some of the top doctors, that waiting list can be a year to 5 years. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's a lot of waiting when you really, really, really know you need it. Yes. So I did a consult in March of 2018, and then I got a surgical date of October of the same year. Okay. And then it's like, oh my God, I have to do electrolysis. How am I going to do this?
Oh, yes.
And so, how am I going to do this in 6 months? And through a reference, I discovered this lady in Beverly Hills who has a form of electrolysis called the multi-point galvanic needle. It's Beverly Hills Hair Free. Yes. I'll give the reference. Yes. But anyways, the point was she got me there ready in 5 months. Oh, my goodness. Which is normally a year-long process. Yes. Now, it did hurt. Oh, yes, it hurt. Oh, my God. It hurts.
Yes, it hurts.
But, what I feel what happened is 2018, at one point, October 2018, I moved out of our home. Our home was sold. I moved to West Hollywood. I had a studio apartment. And I was just after all these years of marriage, I'm just getting used to living on my own, which is wild. It's bizarre. It's like, it's happy. It's lonely. It's everything.
All of it.
And I'm living in West Hollywood, which is like, oh my God, I'm in community, but which is like, wait a minute. Oh my God, this is crazy. But my original surgery date was right after my move-in. That's pretty aggressive.
Oh, yeah. And was it was it a full year of, I think they called it back then, real life test?
I didn't do that.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
No, actually, no. That's not true. I had been more than a year on HRT.
Okay.
I had been more than a year
Okay.
living time. But it was never, what happened is those standards changed in 2015, thankfully.
Yes.
So that never, for my case, it didn't apply.
Okay.
All that applied is I needed to be on hormones a year, and I needed to be living on myself, as myself for a year, which I was more than all of that. For both.
Awesome.
My surgery, because though this lady was great with electrolysis, it wasn't quite ready for that surgical date, so it got kicked back by only 2 months.
Okay.
But that I would lose the surgery date, it was such an emotional thing. I broke down. But it was only, a few months later. It was November 29th, 2018. I got bottom surgery at Cedars, and I was in the hospital. I was visited by so many of my friends, within my religious community, which I'm Buddhist. Okay. I was visited by so many friends in that community. I was visited by so many friends in the trans community. Wow. And it turned out one of my friends in the trans Latina community had surgery the next day. So we started trading visitations people. Oh, and nice. It was just a surreal moment. It was awesome. It was, I get emotional as I think about it, because even as in Cedars, because the hospital was very full that day, my room turned out to be the VIP room that they give for. So I'm getting this luxury room to recover from bottom surgery. Nice. So I'm confined to bed, and all I can do is just enjoy the view.
Exactly. Wow. I can't wait.
I think, but what I would say is it was one part of my voyage to get to the place of having surgery, which takes a lot of determination, a lot of dedication, a lot of, oh my God, it takes everything to get to that point. Yeah, a lot of courage too. Yeah, definitely. And then there's the point of having the surgery, which is one really intense marker point of our life. And then there's kind of the recovery period. And those are three totally different experiences, wow. For me. So the last part was the part, because you just, what I would say is I was a little naive because I just had to have the surgery. My mind couldn't comprehend anything else other than having that surgery. And I kind of thought like, well, I'm a tough bitch. I'll just recuperate on my own. That was a mess. So, I had friends who drove me back from the hospital. I had friends who helped me shop. I had somebody else who helped me clean my apartment. But, really for the first first couple of weeks, you can't even drive. For the first few months, you're very restricted physical activity, but more, I had never had major surgery before. And that is one major surgery. And I just had no insight to the depth of the physical change that would go on with me, the mental change, the transitional change. Yeah. The change is incredible, but that post-surgical recovery period, which in all honesty, it takes about a year for everything to settle down. Yeah. And everything to come back into a new sweet space. But that was a very tumultuous year. That was a very like 6 months into 5 months into it, I dipped into a deep post-surgical depression. Wow. Like, this is not me. It's not my personality. I think Shelby knows my personality. I'm a people-forward person, but I went into such a deep depression, I turned off my phone and I stopped talking to people. Wow. And I just streamed Netflix. And the only reason I went outside is to walk my little doggy. I have a little mini pincher. She's outside now, but that was the only reason I left the house, was to walk my dog. But what I didn't know was, and this is what I want to share, it was a deep point of the surgery. What I didn't understand is that, I just, thankfully I was still seeing my therapist, and she was like, "You're depressed." no, and I was fighting her. No, I'm not. I'm not depressed, but yes, I was depressed.
Yeah.
And she's like, you should get Prozac. I can't, can't prescribe that. I'm going to ask you to go see your doctor and get Prozac. And I'm like, it was a wake up call because I thought, there's no way I'm going to take Prozac. I'm very adverse to medication. I'm very sensitive medication. And especially, I don't want to take a medication that has a risk of an addiction where you just take it and take it. It's like, I didn't want to do that. So I'm like, okay, this is a serious moment. So, okay, I went and made an appointment with my endocrinologist, and and it was hard. It was hard to open up. Like, hey, my therapist asked me to come here. This is what's going on, and thankfully, my doctor was extremely experienced with working with trans clients. And this is the message I wanted to share: is he just said, no, before we do anything, let's get some information. And he goes, first of all, let's get your hormonal levels, and we're going to figure out where to go from there. He goes, but let me explain what's happening with the body. And this is what I wanted to share with everybody. What's happening with the body is, in essence, the hormone factor in your body, AE, what used to be my testicles, and all that kind of stuff, it's gone. And that's been in your body for over 50 years. And now the rest of your endocrine system is trying to figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. Okay. And your body doesn't know what's going on because it's trying to search for something that's not there. So everybody's different. Everybody handles it different. So in a weird way, the fact that this would happen to you is actually very normal. He goes, what we're going to do, we'll test your levels, and then we'll figure out a course of action. And so the thing to share is what it really came out is that, all women have a ratio, all cisgender women have a ratio of estrogen to female testosterone. And when my levels came back, that level of testosterone was almost negligible. It didn't exist, or is at the lowest possible part of that band. And he's like, okay, we need to add this back. We need to add back a little bit of testosterone into your balance of HRT. And so we're going to do this, but we're going to work out what is the right dosage for your body. It's different for everybody. So, to be honest, thankfully, my doctor was so experienced that he had that maturity and he could explain it to me in ways that I could understand because I'm a doctor. Right. And second, it was truly a doctor-patient relationship that, I would do it for a while and it's like, well, I feel like it's too much testosterone now because I'm feeling really aggressive, He's like, okay, we're going to lower that and we'll change this and change that. And so we worked together for a few tries out and we found the sweet spot.
Nice.
So, but I think what I didn't know these things going into it. And I find sometimes myself, and maybe less to a degree now because we have access, but we don't talk about these things when we go back, or when we get into deep water.
Right.
And the truth is, we all get into deep water, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I put, and maybe as a community, we can all do this to some extent. I want to say this story like, oh my God, I did my live stream, and now I'm having sex with all these amazing people because I got what I wanted. Right. Woo-hoo. And then it's like, oh my God, I'm depressed and I just want to watch bad shit on Netflix.
Yes, exactly.
That was and I don't want to work. I don't want to do anything. I just want to have crummy protein shakes and I don't want to talk to anybody. Right. Yes. That's where I was.
Yeah, I think a lot of trans women can relate to that. Personally, I felt, because I knew I had a lot of old friends that were watching me from afar, and I felt this pressure to all of a sudden be this amazing person because I finally got what I needed, from their perspective, or what I wanted. And then I just knew that I had to be an amazing woman.
Right.
But then, you deal with all these other stuff. Transition is what it's called. It's a transition. Yeah. It takes time. It's a journey. It's a process. And so thank you so much for being open with that, because that's something we don't always hear about, how difficult even the things that we need to do are and how that can affect us.
Mm-hmm. And like all of our progression, there's highs and lows that come with the territory. That's right. And they're natural.
Yes.
That's the point of what I was sharing. They're natural that the highs are low, but what I did by the time I had my second surgery, what I did do is I enlisted people to help me in recovery because I knew I would need the help. And I also knew that what goes on up here is a lot. And it's good to be in the presence of another person who may think with more clarity than
good. Very smart.
and to give yourself space to recover.
Right.
Because, I mean, to be under surgery for a long time, your body's got to go through a lot. It's traumatic.
Right.
And the change that's going to elicit internally, on the other hand, I would say that the bottom surgery for me, it did subtly feminize my body more. Like whatever muscles I had in my biceps feminized more. I softened up more, but even more my thought process feminized more. And it's very subtle. It just kind of grows in you. And that's for me, that was a beautiful point of the transition. Yes. It was the beautiful point to, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, 1 year to get to. And I think the other major thing, and I'll share this as me, and I love to share these open things, though my body was different, I almost felt this shyness again, like, oh my God, I'm a virgin again. What do I do? Do I go out and screw like crazy? But I think also it took me a lot to get used to my new body. Sure. It got me used to experiencing, female orgasm. It took me a while to get okay with that. And it got, okay inside of me. And then let alone to share that with another person was even more so. And it's just like, so these are, with some people, maybe they just rip right through it. That's fine. That wasn't me.
Right.
I was very slow and timid. But then when it all settles in, it's like, wow, I never knew, but it had ups and downs and it was a process. And, so I just, it took time as well. It took time sexually to get used to myself. It's like, wait a minute, I'm receiving. Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, so very congratulations on your
and thank you for sharing.
Transformation. And now you're doing very great. Can you share with me, you have a new home, a new career. Can you share with us about your new career and new home?
Thank you, Shelby.
Of course.
So two things. I mean, I think you could pose the question with career and life-wise, that all transitions as well. And so I worked in information technology for long years. The last 15 years of my technological career was working within cable, satellite TV, technology, streaming, sports entertainment, all that. And so it was like there was a lot of status associated with that. And yes, prior to transitioning, I had the 6-figure salary. I had the bonuses. I had the vacations wherever I wanted to go and all of that. But what it was is career-wise, I always kept trying to go back to the career that I used to do. Some people, that's fine. But for me, that career, I tried over and over and over to return to technology. I worked as a project manager in technology, but it never worked. And I had a number of jobs that I used to be able to, prior to transitioning, I was very proud because I used to be able to close interviews like this confidently. And as a transgender woman, I could never close. I could never close the deal. And I always had this thought in my mind, like, okay, once I get that gig, life will be good, everything will be on track, and boom. But it just never really worked out. And I think I had one job that I wanted so bad, and I got an interview for a program manager at Google in the Bay Area. And I went through the interview process, it's a tough interview process when you interview with a prestigious company like that. And, and when you get a call from a prestigious company like that, you take that call. right?
Right.
As a professional, you take that call and I did my best to make it happen. I got like 5 steps through it's like 5 different sets of interviews, like different, here's your primary, here's your second, 5 different sets. Wow. And I didn't close it. And it was, for me at that point, it was heartbreaking because I can do this work. I know I can do this work, but I didn't get it. And what it made me do, and I'll talk about it made me realize that let me look towards other things. Maybe this is the point in my life where technology is no longer my career. And I was holding on to it like other things of my previous life. I was attached to it, clinging to it, holding on to it desperately. And little by little, I had to let go of that. And so what I found more of a career path is I became, last year, I was looking seriously at a path of becoming a traditional therapist, but I approached it from an alternative route. And what it was is I got certified as a hypnotherapist. Okay. And why did I go that route? I went that route because I can quickly address things and beliefs that people have, that we all have. We have beliefs based on our life experiences. And at some point, those beliefs serve us, and at some point, they no longer serve us. And as a hypnotherapist, I help people attach when there's not serving them. And it could be any number of issues, but I help people change those beliefs and allow them to walk into a new reality to what they're going to. So in a way, my lived experience is now what I can offer back to people. And as I progressed as a hypnotherapist, I'm engaged in other methods of it. And really the beauty of what I do now is I work with pain clients. I work with people who struggle with issues of anxiety, depression, even more trauma, which is the things that I traverse. But now I've started out serving those areas, and now I'm refocusing that back to offer people community, because what I can do with hypnotherapy is for the things that I can get to root cause issues, I can get to that very quickly. And not that I know better, but more I can help the person on the receiving end elicit their own healing process and deeply heal and change themselves to go the direction that they need to be made to be. So my new career is actually a dream. Wow. And I never imagined it to be true. And because I can get people there relatively quickly, I can have sessions that are, 1 to 3 sessions, I can get somebody where they need to be. And it's like, okay, my role as a hypnotherapist is done and you don't need me anymore. I don't want you to be seeing me for a year, 2 years. I don't want that. I want to address this so you can move on. Yeah. And it's a pleasure to do that. It does something to me. And I want to start offering it more towards community, but also I want to more start serving LGBTQ youth and as well families of those LGBTQ youths, because each has a profound voyage. And I feel what I have to offer as a human being, my life voyage now it's in such an intense, beautiful place. And my career it's relatively new, but it's a career of purpose and passion. And I'll cover the other topic you're sharing about, because in a way, my transition, like many of us, some more than others, I had to lose, my transitional journey was, I had to lose everything about my life as him. Yeah. I had to lose it all. I had to lose my house, my marriage, my status, my career, many friends, and part of it, my family, part of it, all that stuff. And many of us share that journey. But the more and more I was able to let go of that stuff, when the new stuff came in, is that, by the way, in the process, my finances got totally freaking wrecked. I mean, my credit got wrecked, my finances got wrecked. And really before I transitioned, I just thought, like, I'm going to just be hang gliding right into my retirement. And I crash landed into like being broke,
Yes.
But the beauty is because I was steadfast about myself. The one gift of transition later in life is I did know if I had patience and persistence, I'd get where I need to be.
Yeah.
And maybe, so what happened was my finances, oh God, I'm going to cry. My finances totally turned around, 100%. Second, I was able to repair my credit through friends, really the right friends and friends in community. And third, because one of my best friends in community had moved to Phoenix. And so I get to live a dream because I bought my dream home in Phoenix. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath in a beautiful artistic area, which is me, beautiful racially mixed. I need that. Artistic community, swimming pool. But I get to maintain, a business and a practice in Los Angeles and live here. And my goals is that I want to, to maintain both this lifestyle in both areas because I feel my life deeply has direction in both areas. Substantial direction in both areas. And so it's like, can I say everything? Oh, it's like this definitive thing and I'm the Instagram influencer. No, it's in development.
Yes.
But it's like, there's somewhere deep in me that I know this is my direction. And so going through my process, I've got to discover it.
Yeah.
And I've got to live it. And I love where I live right now. It's a dream. I love my house where I live. You can lose your house, you can lose finances, you can regain it. But right now, I think what I have, what I never had before, I have such an appreciation for what this means.
Oh,
Appreciation
beautiful.
to have lost it and regain it, and to have something so beautiful in my life is unreal. Because when I started transition, I couldn't imagine this. I couldn't imagine this was possible. I thought that was everybody else, not me.
Yeah, right. That's so amazing to look at from when self-harm was crossing your mind, all those years where you didn't see a way out, you didn't know what was going to happen, to compare that to now where you're living purposefully and you found a calling that is so important to helping people get from where they are to where they need to be. And that's so beautiful. So amazing.
Yeah. It really is a privilege to share. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect. It's perfect. It's the hugest growth project to realize, oh, I am now, this is my career. So part of my career is now, in addition to being a therapist, is a business owner and a marketer and an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And right now that's in my infancy. And that is the most enormous growth path right now. And it's great. It's great. Like, oh my God, I never knew I'd be going in this direction. These were the things that I always avoided because not me, but guess what? It is me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sounds like you turn your experience into your professional now and give back.
And what I do is it's a form of hypnosis.
Okay.
And this form of hypnosis is actually called conversational hypnosis.
Okay.
So most of the time when we think of hypnosis, we think of somebody like
Sleeping.
putting you to sleep,
Yeah.
or maybe doing a performance act, or even doing things like people do like regression, like past life regression.
Right.
But this is totally the opposite. And it's kind of based on the idea that when we converse, we actually can produce moments where sometimes you're talking consciously, sometimes you don't realize it, you may be talking unconsciously.
Yeah. So when I was doing a clip, when I was editing your clip, I rewatched your episode and I found out that because we kind of describe what you do and what kind of session will look like. And I just had an idea that, okay, maybe we should do one as an example. And since myself, I've been having a little, I won't say issue, a little, because my mom passed, so I have a little emotional impact these 3-4 months. And so I actually talked to her a little bit. And I do see a pattern that I had before when I was in my depression. So that's where this episode's idea came from. So we were gonna do a little sections, right? Mini sections?
Yeah,
Or
like
example
kind of a
sections?
demonstration.
Yeah, demonstration.
And the funny thing is that when I do a session,
Right.
I don't have any preconceptions of where it may go.
Right. Okay.
And sometimes my sessions can take a long time because it's really delving deep into our inner world
Yes.
and how we experience it.
Okay.
And so, first of all, to start off, I just like, the passing of a loved one is a major event, especially a parent.
Yeah.
That's a major event for anybody's life.
Mm-hmm.
And undoubtedly we go through a grieving process, which is unavoidable.
Yeah, I do have the moment that I feel sad or miss my mom, but somehow I just feel consciously I'm fine, emotionally fine, and still do my stuff daily. But then I have this sleeping disorder, or the pattern is very, very off. Like I go to sleep like past midnight and I can wake up like 4 o'clock. And then I can function all day without napping or resting, and then that just does. It's just not me before.
I see.
So I don't know. So you're here to tell me.
Sure. Well, no, we're just gonna go on a little.
Conversation. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, we'll just go on a voyage together.
Okay,
So,
sure.
first, are you kind of comfortable how you're sitting? Are you relaxed?
I think so.
As relaxed as one can be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, this will be a conversation, and should anything come up that you're not comfortable expressing, that's
It's
okay.
This is
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, I just want you to know, like, I'm really here and I'm with you, like 100% with
Okay.
you.
Sure.
But, what we can do is kind of have a little fun with it. So you describe it like you're experiencing right now because of everything that's gone on. It's like a sleeping disorder, or
I don't know if that's the right term to call it.
Sure.
But that's something different that I notice, in my daily life. I can still eat. I can still do my work. But when I do my work, it's like, especially this past week, it's like from the time I wake up to the time I go ready to sleep. So it's nonstop. So I'm not sure. I'm trying to, replace doing something to cover up the sad part or the depression part.
Oh, I see.
I'm not sure, but
okay.
But the sleeping pattern is definitely off, and like 12 something and 4 o'clock wake up. That's like 4 hours sleep. That's not normal.
Right.
And then I can, like I say, I can go all day the next day. So.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. So you're saying, you're sleeping not normally, 4 hours sleep, maybe less, and you're noticing like you're working all the time.
Yeah, and I also want to just give it. No, I didn't take any drugs or anything.
Sure.
Yeah, the only thing I kind of do is the vape, but that's it. That's not really gonna cost me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you vape normally?
Just picked up this past month or so.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of interesting though. You mentioned that you're working a lot, like lots of hours.
Well, I've been working a lot, but I take breaks or relax a little bit.
Sure.
Now I just full on.
So you're full on working.
Yeah.
No breaks.
No breaks. Well, breaks maybe bathroom breaks. Yeah.
So I'm just kind of curious. When you're working so hard, what are you experiencing? What are you feeling?
Well, I kind of give myself a new schedule starting this year, so it's very tight, and in the term of feeling, I don't think of feeling. All I know is let's say the video releasing strategy, it kind of work. We have more subscribers, so I said, I just tell myself, okay, this is working. That's probably the only feeling this past 2 weeks, because I just started a week ago.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for a couple of weeks, you've been working a lot, putting in a lot of hours, and maybe you think there's like a connection between your sleep pattern and you're working a lot.
I don't know. Well, I don't think I cannot sleep is because I'm worried. I don't feel any of that. Or I don't feel like, oh, I'm not going to finish my work, so I have to wake up early. But I do have sometimes I miss, you know, because if I go out with friends, I might miss some couple tasks, and then I might wake up, okay, do it early to cover, you know, to make it up like that.
But you're mentioning you're worrying. You're worrying.
No,
You're not?
I think I'm not.
Oh, you think you're not? Okay.
I don't feel like I am worried.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're sleeping different and you're working a lot. Okay.
Yes.
What did your mom mean to you?
It means a lot to me.
It means a lot.
She's
yeah.
You know, I kind of stay close to, even though I live by myself, but throughout 46 years, she's always around. You know, she never goes somewhere that like far, and you know, the most is like she went back to my country for a month years ago, but that's it. So, and we kind of came more close after my transition in a way, and because before when I was pre-transition, I don't really share what's going on outside the house, like who's my friend, what did I do with my friends, or how I feel. I never shared that pre-transition, and then once I transition, I kind of become more comfortable sharing. Like, okay, I'm hanging out with Tawni, and we take pictures. Sofia, we're gonna go eat this place. We take picture. I share with her, messaging texts. Yeah, so she never met any of our friends, but she does know each one of them.
So as you transitioned, you became a lot closer.
Yeah, a lot closer, and like we talk every day. So right now, there's few days that I did not fully spoke full sentences.
Sure.
You know, I text, like, you know, text is like talking to yourself, kind of, right? You have a voice inside. But I never. But there's a few days that, because usually I talk to my mom on the phone, and now and then there's probably 2 or 3 days I don't speak a word to a real person. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So she's a powerful force or a strong connection for your life.
Yes, like personal, and I think this my work attitude or ethic is all coming from her in a way, because growing up we saw her working very hard, long hours.
Yeah.
You know, restaurant business, so she have to prepare the stuff and be at the restaurant right before the opening, and then after closing she have to cleaning and you know, do the accounting, and then go home. It's like 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then, you know, repeats for many years.
So what's interesting is that you're mentioning, you know, your mom's work ethic. That's something that you got from her, right?
Yeah.
So that's a very powerful thing. And then but it's very interesting if you think about it right now.
Yeah, I just
you're working very hard.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, you know, it's kind of interesting, don't you think?
Yes. Now when I'm just talking to you, I just oops. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
but so that's interesting. You just had a thought come somewhere.
Yeah, because I don't know. Is that
that's natural.
Is that natural? Is that
that's
normal?
Natural? Of course it is.
Because when she's around, I do work hard, but not as this extreme. You know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I have break time. I go to, you know, meet friends and hang out.
So
even COVID time, not like that.
But well, it's interesting. So you use the word extreme.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's okay. It's interesting. So, you know, I just want to point out a couple of things, if I may, to the audience, is that, so when we're speaking, when I said the word extreme, you kind of laughed. Your whole tone of voice changed. See, you're like, just like you did right there. So that's, your emotions are expressing yourself through your body. Your subconscious is expressing these things. And so these are the things where it just piques my curiosity. Like, wow, there's something really there. There's something. So we can kind of amplify that in a way. By amplify, I mean, let's explore that a little more, because First of all, I think it's really beautiful, don't you, that you got such a good work ethic from your mom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, how do I say this? Okay, she's been very, very courage, brave.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of caught that too in a way after transition. Pre-transition, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay, as a guy, I'm not very out there and very shy. Because when we were young in my country, she doesn't have to work. She's a stay-home mom. And when we immigrant here, she never drive before in my country, and she got a license here. She drove from Orange County to San Gabriel Valley for work, just like that. So, and then she doesn't speak English, and she do like a cosmetic shop and store. And then of course, there are a lot of Asian there, but she's not afraid that she doesn't speak English. She's not afraid. She just got a license. Driving that far is danger. She's not worried about that. I think it's because she tried to provide, be a provider for
Sure.
for us. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, she's a provider for you.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's kind of interesting. So your mom moved here as an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
And she totally changed to take care of anything. And she's like a business owner. And it didn't bother her language, culture, whatever. She just went out and took care of things.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting. It seems like maybe, would there be a connection like right now, you're working really hard as a real estate agent, entrepreneur, podcaster. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. That kind of like that tickles a nerve. How's that like when you feel you kind of what are you what are you experiencing?
Okay, all those times I described, I was still young, like teenager, or we came here when I was 12. So that means like at those times we saw it in our eyes, but we don't understand. We don't feel what I feel looking back right now, because now I can see, okay, she's got sacrifice for us. When I say sacrifice, is because we do know, because she diagnosed cancer is because she worked too hard.
Okay.
So when I say extreme, that's why I use the word extreme. Actually, it's applied to her and maybe to some of my doing these past couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I, seeing her working like that, of course, we didn't know it's gonna end up, diagnosed cancer. But now I do know, like, a person, if it's under stress, worry, or work tirelessly like that, it can cause, disease.
Okay.
And of course, we me and my sister say we don't want to end up like that.
Right.
So
okay.
So I don't know. So that means I don't know what I'm expressing right now after her passing. Is it because subconsciously I miss her, and maybe that part was ink in me, so I'm doing that unconsciously. I don't know.
No, it's okay. And I just want to comment. It's kind of like, as we're talking more and more, there's like a depth and a richness of experience you're expressing.
Right.
Yes. And and a richness of your emotion. And so I'm just kind of noting that.
Yeah, I never really share this with anybody. Actually.
Yeah, well, I again, we have the blessing of editing. You can share or not share.
No, I'm fine with
that.
But
also, I thank you for being so open with me.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because what comes out of us as people, we all have these conclusions in our life that we kind of run on, right? And it's natural. It's a human experience. So right now you're having a very powerful human experience.
Yeah, I do. Somehow, I do feel a invisible force pushing me in a way.
How do you experience that invisible force?
like, well, before, as our circle of friend knows, or sometimes I mention on the podcast that like my last emotional impact was my relationship breakup, and now this is replace of that. That's like last chapter. I kind of feel that way. That's last chapter because like, when we do things, we ask why are you doing it, or what's the motivation behind it. I think that one it's already juiced up. I mean that kick is already done. It's already probably there, and now it's another gear of kick. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Like yeah, maybe that will take that experience will probably take me from there to here now, and then now I'm feeling like there's an invisible force to lead me or push me to go further. Yeah.
When you think of this invisible force, if you just take a moment and think about that invisible force, is there anywhere like in your body or your mind you experience that?
I think it's on my mind.
So in your body,
my mind, and plus a little emotion because
sure. So hold on.
Okay.
So where in your body would you experience that invisible force?
Like the way I work, I think, because I never work like that, so I kind of like feeling I can go all day and sleep 4 hours and keep going and going. so that's what I think that I have that kind of drive or attitude is because of emotion pushing.
Yeah.
And
so you have that drive, that attitude from the invisible force and emotion. So what do you think that emotion is?
After her passing, I realized her passing kind of made me realize and see clearly that her support, her love, and her acceptance of my transitioning, it's impact me, not impact me only, it's impact me to be able to go on, let's say, on podcasts to impact other people, or in our community. And let's say she is not the way she was, then I won't be able to show this side of me to everyone. I'll be probably more desolate, how do you say, depressed, sad, or no confidence, or my transition probably won't move forward as smooth as it has been,
So is part of that invisible force your mom's acceptance?
I think so. It kind of just, since I realized this, I kind of made me feel like, okay, now I have a mission. That I want to impact more people, because the way she treated me, caring and united us in a way, and made me feel like, okay, I need to carry on her legacy.
Carry it. That's an extremely powerful thing, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's making its appearance. It's making an appearance in your body. It's serious.
Legacy. I don't know how I think everyone has a different meaning of legacy. Some is like you have to be somebody or have something to carry on. But for my mom, that's why I say invisible.
Invisible.
Because like caring, loving, accepting is not a physical thing. You know what I mean? But it translates me into a physical body to show people in a physical form, right?
So that legacy.
Even I'm talking like this, I'm surprised.
It's okay.
I normally don't talk like this.
Well, hold on a second.
Okay.
This is helping you open up.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're expressing things maybe you don't normally say, and it's just kind of flowing out of you.
Yeah.
And we use these very powerful words like the invisible force, legacy, acceptance. All these things are very those are very strong emotional experience, don't you think?
Yes.
And especially as a transgender person,
Mm-hmm.
those are powerful. And if you have that from a family member,
Mm-hmm.
that's obviously left it like an imprint.
It is. Well, as you know, I like to help people since, in the beginning when I'm transitioning, I just feel, okay, I'm kind of lucky. I'm blessed. I have a family that accept me, and I just feel I can help. But it wasn't the same as right now, because back then it's more like, okay, well, get together, or I'll listen to you, or or do events and have everyone gather outside of the party scene or club scene.
Sure.
But now it's more, I don't know how to describe it. It's more like,
Well, if
I
you
think
don't,
I can do a lot bigger.
a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. So
In a
now
way.
this capacity, this drive,
Mm-hmm.
this invisible force to help, how would you characterize that drive now? Or how would you experience that drive to help right now at this point in
You
your
mean
life?
what I want to do, or?
Yes. How your
Um,
capacity to help.
Well, I think I'm gonna use media as a channel
Mm-hmm.
to continue impact people with the message or the journey I gone through, or the knowledge I learned to share with people. That's one. And second one is I want to open a foundation, nonprofit foundation under her nickname, and to continue to help people, because that's what she was kind of doing towards this past few years. Yeah, so we've been doing donation, and she's very into Buddhism, because our family is Buddhist.
Yeah.
And we never really is so religious family, but she was like doing a lot of chanting. She called it I'm doing my homework.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so she does a lot of that. And then another part that's kind of impact me is when she, after she passing, I kind of feel I'm more closer to this religion in a way, because yeah, somehow I just kind of keep hearing about Buddhas.
Okay.
And her new home is in a temple.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I understand. That's where she's resting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, like as we talk, and even though you might not think you're going into a trance, or I'm making you go into a trance,
Okay.
you're starting to bring out thought and information that's very profound.
Okay. Okay. No,
And maybe
yeah.
is probably not what you talk about normally, but but to think of what I'm hearing from you, please correct me if I don't have it right, or I just want to make sure I have it right, is you're, like this need, this desire to amplify this legacy of your mom and your family. It's becoming very strong, very well defined, kind of clear. So it's kind of what I say, this event with the very difficult passing of your mother. It's kind of giving you a why. Like every entrepreneur, every business person, every person sometimes to have their deep inner why.
Yes. 7 deep.
Yeah,
Seven level deep.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a little bit of what you're expressing to me right now?
Yes, and also because I brought up the last emotional impact was the relationship, and that's the reason I started doing real estate, because we can, I'll explain in a different episode, but that's the reason why I become a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
And into 4th year of doing real estate, I think that one, the mission is somehow I just feel complete. That's why I can sense now this is another emotional impact wave, and this one is stronger than the last one, a lot stronger.
So the first one, emotion was feeling complete.
As of now, yeah.
Feeling complete as of now.
Meaning, like, the reason I do real estate, I'm already there.
Right.
Like, I'm helping,
Mm-hmm.
people who think they cannot buy home, they got turned down.
Yeah.
Like, or the agent they experience not doing their job. That's what we experienced in the past, and leads to, in results of breaking up. So,
So you had that relationship and that breakup. It's kind of like each one of these are profound things,
right?
And profound, at times for anybody, they're emotionally profound, deep things. But it seems that last one propelled you to be a real estate agent,
yes,
and to feel complete as Shelby.
Complete meaning.
What? So here, let me rephrase.
Okay, sure.
When you say complete, it made you feel complete.
Yeah.
How do you experience complete?
Just like I mentioned, I'm doing real estate is not because money or commission or the title. It's because I personally experienced a bad service from an agent, and leads to we are arguing as stress, and that's kind of the breaking point of that relationship. And because of that made me want to be somebody who's opposite. Find do my best and not give up on my client. That's the right way to say.
Yeah.
And when I say complete, meaning I've been already. I'm going to continue to have more client, of course. I'm not done with the professional, but I'm just saying that drive is, I already got there. I already passed my test. I got a license and blah blah blah.
Okay, but complete as an agent, complete as a woman, complete as a daughter.
You mean that last impact?
Yeah.
I'll say complete as a mission.
As a mission. Okay.
Yeah, I think.
So you completed your mission.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
let's hold that right there.
Okay.
So you completed your mission. How does that feel?
It feels good.
Feels good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so we're thinking about, earlier we talked about legacy.
Yeah.
You're talking about creating a legacy. What would that mean to you to create that legacy?
Well, right now I'm thinking, carry on my mom's legacy of supporting acceptance and love and unite. So, but for my personal legacy, which I don't have any kids or anybody, so I'm thinking that foundation I was telling you about earlier, that will be the legacy of me and her. Okay. Later on.
So the legacy is this foundation and these other things, but let's go back to this legacy.
Okay.
And how that's going to make you feel as Shelby.
As Shelby. Well.
There. No. That's really good. When you had that, well, let's just stay with that.
Okay.
What?
Well, as Shelby, meaning, if Shelby as a trans person, let's say out in the open, it will. I don't know I don't know the future, but as of now, because we don't have a have a icon or a person that is doing something that make the society or the mainstream people to see, oh, a trans person can be this way.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be work at a grocery store. It doesn't have to be, living on the street or, something like that.
Sure.
So that's the part that it doesn't have to come from me, personally as my legacy. But if I can impact another person who can do better than me or show this part to the world, then that's still,
So,
yeah.
So to show to the world what a successful person can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we tend to have this label, I call it.
Yeah. What is that label?
Meaning, like we will consider us a minority, right?
Okay.
They consider us a minority, and certain like ethnicity background is considered minority. But I'm thinking opposite. I said, why we have to be minority? Why can't we be majority, right?
Okay.
And then in order to be a majority, you have to, in their eyes, we have to be, we're not a burden to the society. That's the word to say,
A
right?
burden. Okay, tough question. Do you feel like you're a burden to society?
I'm not right now.
You're not right now. Because?
Because I feel I'm contribute to the society or the community. Yes.
What are in thinking of doing this legacy, do you think, when you think about your legacy that you're working on right now, and you're working so hard, but then you're working so hard about your legacy, but then you're concerned about overworking like your mom.
Yeah, because when she found out that I'm a trans, this is what she said, word for word. I mean, my sister translate word for word. She said, it's okay as long as you're happy and healthy. So healthy is in there. So, and happy, I've been through, everyone been through happy and unhappy, or so I'm trying to keep myself healthy so she doesn't have to worry.
Okay.
Before and after, and now or after.
Sure.
Spiritual way of worry. Yeah.
Yeah. But you're working really hard. Use the word extreme. You're working extremely hard.
Yes.
And your mom overworked. That brought about the cancer. You feel?
Yeah, we feel that's the main cost.
And you also feel your mom wants you to be healthy and happy.
Yeah.
Healthy and happy.
Yes.
So there's a little
conflict.
Yeah, a little conflict, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
How can we resolve that conflict?
I don't know.
Yeah. No, we can just think about.
Do you think that that's the reason why it caused me have sleeping disorder, because I'm conflict?
Could be.
Yeah.
So I know we can just take a minute. Think about that conflict. Or think about, hold on. Take a minute and think about resolving that conflict. Because you're working extremely hard. You're working extremely hard.
Yeah.
And you want to fulfill being healthy and happy.
Well, I think that will be contribute to daily habits.
Daily habits.
What I eat, I exercise. I know sleeping right now is off, but I'm sure
sleeping is off. What do you think the sleeping being off is telling you?
Something's wrong in my body.
Okay.
Or my mental. I don't know.
Something. Well, hold on. Something's going on. Something's going on up there. You pointed up here. So something's going on up here. So this sleeping is telling you something. And so
Well,
hold
okay,
on.
sure.
So just let's kind of stay there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you just mentioned you have these unusual, different sleeping patterns,
Yes.
and it's telling you something's going on
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just take a thought. What do you think's going on up there? So let's just think deeply, slowly, easily. What's going on up there? What's going on with Shelby up there? What is it trying to tell you?
My personal thinking is because I like I mentioned earlier, I have emotional moments, and those are unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it just comes.
Unpredictable emotional.
Yeah, like
moments.
all of a sudden I'll just thought of her or miss her, or and other time I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe I'm doing extreme work or something to get rid of that. Weak. I mean, not weak, but I don't want to victimize myself. Maybe that's why.
Okay, sure. No. This is really we're getting to kind of the heart of the matter here. So you're working hard.
Mm-hmm.
You have these emotional moments.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think of these emotional moments and working hard, let's just keep our focus right there. Yeah, it's kind of.
I think I think I'm maybe not just avoiding victiming myself, but maybe avoid me being depressed.
Okay.
Because
mm-hmm.
I kind of describe if I go depressed
mm-hmm.
and I discover a certain pattern that I will kind of do something really stupid.
Sure.
And I don't want to go through. I don't want to go there again. So I think maybe subconsciously I'm trying to hold on to that, not fall down.
I see.
And maybe by doing work, and I might
mm-hmm.
get I don't know.
So okay. So again, we have to say is like to experience emotions.
Mm-hmm.
About a passing of a loved one.
Right.
That's a normal human experience.
Yeah.
So
you say that. Many people actually say that. Say this is
mm-hmm.
everyone gone through.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because when I describe it, maybe people think I'm trying to avoid it, which maybe I am. So
maybe you are.
Yeah.
Maybe you are. And that would be a normal emotion too.
And I did share with one of our mutual friends. She said, maybe subconsciously I'm depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Subconsciously, I'm not aware, but on surface, I'm still doing my thing, doing podcasts and
mm-hmm.
work, and
So maybe subconsciously you're depressed.
That's what she thinks.
What do you think?
When I hear that, I think, maybe she's right. But it's hard to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. To me, it's kind of hard to be aware of.
Yeah, it is
certain
hard.
things. Subconscious thing.
Sure.
Because unless I had an experience before, just like the pattern I mentioned, the depression.
But we're here right now.
Yeah, I know. So,
we're here right now, and it's kind of you're here right now, and it's free. You have the freedom to experience anything.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're all human beings, right?
Yes.
So, maybe it struck a nerve when you heard that from your friend.
Yeah. I just kind of have like an aha moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still cannot.
So no,
find out if
it's an aha moment.
Yeah.
And we're right here talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of making you think, right?
Yes.
It's making, maybe you can even open up a little bit. You don't know. Who knows how this could come out? Yeah?
Yeah.
You just give yourself that moment.
Okay.
Relax. You're relaxed, though.
I think I'm relaxed. I don't know. Do I look agitated?
No.
Sometimes I am.
Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
just relaxed.
Okay.
And you can take this moment and just think about, is that true or not? Just think about that.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to that place maybe. I don't know where that emotion might take you. Yeah. That's good. You see, you're talking a lot less,
I'm talking a lot less.
which is a good thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because I need to let
Because
it out?
no, you just slow down.
Oh, okay.
Slow down
Got it.
and let your thoughts kind of happen.
Mm.
Do you ever try and think of something and you can't remember somebody's name?
A
And
lot
then-
of time.
Sure. But then you just you try to think really hard and you can never remember it.
Yeah.
But then when you kind of relax and do something else, oh, that's who it is.
Okay.
So
I see.
that's what we're kind of giving ourselves that moment.
Mm.
You know,
Okay.
just kind of let things
Slow down.
Yeah. Just slow down.
Okay.
You can think deeply
Mhm.
about those thoughts.
Mhm.
Who
Okay.
knows? Could be fears. Could be
Mhm.
emotions that are there.
Mhm.
Could be anything.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
just give yourself that time to, yeah. I know, see, you kind of laugh. Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's
Oh,
just,
okay.
you
It's
express
just me.
yourself. No, you just express yourself.
Okay.
Does it feel like when you laugh, maybe you're touching something?
I think the way you said it, like the example, if you forgot somebody's name,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of, thinking in my head, and it just applied to many different moments
Mm.
that when you calm down, you figure out, or when you calm down, you
Mm-hmm.
find out,
Yeah.
or realize, aware.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you can realize, be aware
Mm-hmm.
right in this moment.
Okay.
And sometimes it's kind of good.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself permission to slow down
Okay.
because we're all running pretty quickly in this life, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you're probably running quickly.
I did. I
And,
did running quickly a few times already. As
Yeah.
you know me for 10 years there, sometimes there are times I already run quickly and
Mm-hmm.
then fall.
Right. So
Yeah.
we don't want to fall, do we?
No.
Yeah.
Because we're getting older, we cannot always, every time
Right.
can get back up.
Right. So we don't want to fall
Yeah.
and give ourselves that permission to just think about it. You
Okay.
know? And when you think about it, like, it's kind of funny because any thought can come to our mind,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Any thought can come to our mind about, I don't know,
Yeah.
who knows where it could go? It could go anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yes.
But it's just like things are nice and opened up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
Yeah.
appreciate your
Mhm.
session.
Yeah. So I'm just curious as we're kind of slowing down,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. I didn't realize I'm slowing down until you
Yeah.
mentioned it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but if you feel something right now,
Mm-hmm.
you give yourself permission to slow down
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because, that's a human thing too.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You can.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel so many emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, it's kind of scary,
Yeah.
and you mention some things about your past.
You mean the downfall?
Well, could be that. I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about depression.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
would this extreme work, is that kind of running from that depression?
I
or-
think so.
You think so?
Mhm.
Okay. So, how would you imagine, how would you experience when you think of extreme work on one side
Mm.
and depression, the fear of depression? Just the fear of depression, not depression.
Mhm.
If you think of those two thoughts, you just keep those two thoughts in your head.
Okay. All right, I will.
Yeah. So you have the extreme work,
Uh-huh.
depression,
Okay.
fear of depression.
Fear of depression. Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, I do have that.
Fear of depression.
Yes, fear
Yeah.
of depression. Don't want
Yeah.
to go down that road again.
Yeah, you don't want to go
Yes.
down that road. That's well, it's when we think of roads
Mm-hmm.
and you're thinking of this fear of depression. What other roads might you be able to travel? I don't know.
Happy.
Happy and healthy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to be healthy. You don't want to work so hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, as you start to think of things,
Mm-hmm.
you want to be happy and healthy.
Right.
There's this fear of depression going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of come to that place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have fear. So
Mhm.
that's a human emotion too, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
So maybe if you just kind of like you observe that fear,
Uh-huh.
maybe shake its hand.
Huh?
Shake its hand.
Shake its hand.
Yeah, I
Fear.
don't know. I don't know. But when we think of this fear, when you, Shelby,
Mm-hmm.
think of this fear,
Okay.
what do you experience in your body or your life or your thoughts when you think of this fear of depression? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think, well, as this moment, I think the depression. I think fear of depression is there, and I kind of feel maybe I'm suppressing,
You're
and I'm
suppressing
not
it.
talking to anyone about it.
Right.
And doing this session makes me feel I talk it out.
Okay. So we're going to talk it out.
Like a dumping, trash dumping. So now
So-
I feel.
So you want to trash dump?
I already did.
Are you
Kinda.
sure?
I think so.
Are you really sure? I mean, you can trash dump a lot.
Oh, yeah. But I think I feel more. I feel my chest is more. More relief, more air going in now. In a way.
Your chest is more air into your chest.
Yeah, like can breathe better.
You can breathe.
in a body form.
Okay.
Like I won't feel so heavy. In a way.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you
I
don't
do
feel
that
so
way.
you don't feel so heavy,
Yeah.
and you can breathe more.
Yeah, I feel that way right now.
You feel that way, right? Okay. Let's stay with that thought of
Mm-hmm.
being able to breathe more
Mm-hmm.
and not feeling so heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So not being able to breathe more
Uh-huh.
and not feeling so heavy.
Yeah.
Let's just
I feel more light.
you feel more light.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you feel?
Better.
Feel better.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like you said, when you say I slow down, I didn't realize until you said it, actually. So maybe I just need to talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Talk it out.
depression probably because I'm trying to compress it,
Yeah.
suppress it.
You're trying to compress your
and-
depression.
Yeah, and then when I talk it out, and since it's already out, so I
Mhm.
feel more light, more
You're
relief.
feeling lighter.
Relief in a
Mhm.
way.
So
Yeah.
talking it out.
Talking it out and share with friends.
Share with friends. Letting that trash. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Yeah.
You feel lighter.
Mm-hmm.
You can breathe more.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling lighter. You breathe more.
Yes.
So now I'm going to interrupt for a moment, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
So really what's happened is her subconscious mind is expressing a helping resource,
Okay.
which is being able to breathe better.
Okay.
See, you're even reacting to that.
Okay.
Being able to breathe better
Yeah.
and feeling lighter.
Yes.
You're experiencing this.
Yes.
Your mind is coming up with a solution.
Oh. Okay.
Do you realize that?
No.
Yeah, your mind's coming up with an idea.
Okay.
But that's just us. We talked all this stuff, but now we're
Right.
kind of getting really into the heart of the matter. And then you're saying, let it out.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to a friend.
Mm-hmm. Trash them.
Trash them. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
okay. So maybe you need
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that time to express that freedom
Yes.
so you can breathe.
Yeah.
Feel lighter.
Yes. So I can sleep better tonight.
So you want, okay. So you want to sleep better tonight.
Yeah.
You want to sleep better
Mm-hmm.
because you can breathe,
Mm-hmm.
feel lighter
Right.
by talking it out
Yes.
and talking about fear of depression or depression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I really appreciate you
Mm-hmm.
doing this little
Okay.
episode session with
Okay.
me.
You're welcome. And
Yeah,
this is kind of a long
No,
time.
I'm not
Yeah.
acting. I really feel in that
Yeah.
moment,
Yes.
and because we're kind of running out of time.
Yeah, I know we are.
Why. But
Allow me to
go
clarify.
ahead. Yes.
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
thank you for being so open. It's really brave. It's not easy.
Mhm.
And as you do these things, you're letting things out that you're resisting.
Right.
And you're kind of letting it out little by little in a way that's healthy to you.
Yes.
And so the thing that what's happening is our subconscious mind is one of its job is to keep us alive and to protect us.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And so there might be some resistance to these emotions.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of like just gently opening up for you
Mhm.
in a way that you can process it.
Mhm.
And
Yes,
so, if
process.
we're doing a normal session, this would go longer, or I would do
Right.
some more things to help you kind of process it deeper.
Yes.
And as well, I would like do some more things to help you. These
Mhm.
resources that you're building, those are
Mhm.
tools your subconscious is coming up with.
Right.
And so I'd be emphasizing those tools
Yes.
so that by the time a session can go anywhere. So you could see we had to talk a long time
Mhm.
before
To get
actually
in. Yeah.
we're getting into this real
Right.
heart of the matter.
Yeah.
But getting in the heart of the matter is kind of beautiful because there's a change. There's a change in your body.
Mhm.
There's a change in the way you talk. There's a
Mhm.
change in the way that you're reacting. And so at this point, this is where we're really dialoguing with your subconscious.
Mhm. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So thank you for allowing me to demonstrate, but more
course,
thanks
thank
to
you.
you because
Thank
you
you,
have to
thank
be really
you.
brave to do this.
Oh, well, I really have to, like I say, find a channel to fix this. So where can people find you?
Okay.
Book your sessions.
Sure. I will supply a Calendly link where you can book a free strategy call. And basically in this strategy call together, we can figure out if it's a good fit or a good match. The beauty of this is, again, I come in as a therapist with no assumptions, no presumptions. We just get to this point where we actually kind of get to the root and the heart of the matter and bring about a way that you, the person, in this case, Shelby,
Mhm.
can actually resolve your own problem. It's not me telling you, it's you coming up with your own ideas.